Well, it's all true. I am Reverend Lisa's husband. And in truth, I would not be here if it wasn't for her. And I say that, literally, I say it sarcastically, but it is the truth. Because prior to, good to see you, 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 good to see you. Indeed, good to see you. Yes, I see you. Good to see you. Thank you. Good to see you. And I say that because it is the love that you're sitting in that is inciting me and getting me ready to say something that I wasn't prepared to say. And I know it because that's how it works. When you listen, it begins to tell you the thing that is necessary for what the individuals who are sitting in front of you need to hear to inspire them to become who it is that they believe they are. Yes. See, it is in the awakening of us that we reveal who we are in this world. And it's because of those circumstances that we did not live up to, whether we were 8, 10, 12, 15, 21, 35, 50, 60 for some of us. It's just the way it is. It's a part of learning and becoming connected to ourselves with an awareness of what it is that we use. And that is spirit. And that is why the theme, the true spirit of a man, is so complimentary. Now, to back up a bit, Reverend Gerald kids, but him and I, went back and forth with themes. He asked, man, what do you have? And I sat on it for a few weeks and I didn't really have anything. And so one day I was just sitting in the back of the church and I just texted him. He texted me back, which is unusual because he normally don't pay attention to his phone. I do because of the work that I do that I have to pay attention to it, right? And so he paid attention to it and he responded to me. And so we started talking back and forth. And so what came up was the strength of a man. And that came from him. And then I said, well, we need to make it home, make it plain that it is the spirit that's in us that do it. So let's make it the true spirit of a man. So Reverend Gerald is the executive producer of the thing. And I want to thank Brother Tommy for, opening up and greeting me this morning with such an open invitation. I love your spirit, brother. It is very inspiring. All praises be unto the Lord, the God of the worlds of the universe, that is moving in and through this world that we describe as spirit. And this spirit works on our behalf. And we could not thank him enough for all the things that this spirit is actually doing. So I just want to be grateful for this moment and this presence and this power that is in us, working through us as us, and realize that this God is amongst the living. And this is how we describe what it is that we are doing. So what I want you to do right now is to just clear your mind. And a way that we say to clear the mind is just sit and be still with an awareness of where you are, but a loosening of the thoughts of everything that has happened prior to. so that you can see, hear, and receive what is coming for you. See, because it is only when we connect with the words and the information that is given, that is when we can feel the presence and become alive with this spirit that is working in and through us as us. So let us recognize, realize, so that we can activate and emulate this power. Share this quote with you that I came across, and it's by Masami Sanji. And it says, what you think about day and night forms your character and your personality. So whatever it is we've been thinking and whatever it is we've been experiencing has been coming from these ideas that we've had from within ourselves. Some of these ideas come from the imagination that we have in life. Some of these ideas come from the circumstances that we needed to experience to become aware of what is out there in the world, so to speak, right? You're going to experience it because it is something that you need to be aware of so that you can protect yourself and those whom are watching you of how to react and respond when things aren't going their way or our way. It's like if you don't fall, you're not going to realize that you have the ability to get up. Now, that may seem real simple, but all of us have failed, right? And falling is not bad. Falling should give us a recognition of who we are. See, it is in the fallible state that we become aware of the power that is moving in us, through us, as us. See, in the beginning, God said, let there be. And then through the speaking of the development of the universe, God said, this is coming through. We can cattle, seed, right? We all read the book, right? And then he said, but I made a man. And that man that was birthed into existence, I give him power and dominion over it. The first thing that is given to us is power. To do what? To rule. Rule what? The universe and everything in it. This is why we have dominion and power. It's when we don't recognize it, when we don't walk into this absolute power, that we run into these circumstances that bring us trouble. And then we go within ourselves. It's like, oh, I don't believe I'm not made. We are made in the image and likeness of. It's only a mistake. It's a mishap. It's a way to learn how to maneuver through something. See, and it's when we clarify that in our minds, we don't mind when we stumble, when we fall. We don't blame it on the boogie. We ain't have to blame it on the way my wife talked to me today. We don't have to blame it on when he didn't pay me today. Stand in what it is that you want. That know that this power is going to give it to you, whatever it is that you need. It don't matter what you're going through, but guess what? Woe is me. Guess what? It shows up. That's what you asked for. See, this is what we got to know about ourselves. This is how powerful we are. You know, it's sort of like, I had this thought that came to me when I was writing this, and it said, and I don't know where I was going with it, but it was like, I don't know what you believe about gold, right? But a lot of times, you know, when it comes to gold, you know, we think about the monetary state of what it is that we need, and we look towards that as the thing that will provide and make us more, I would say, feel more important, right? Or we feel like we can take care. We don't look at it and think that, oh, just to take care of our needs. We look at it as a status, right? But it doesn't matter the status of a person if he has no wisdom, if he have no knowledge, right? So the key is to have the golden knowledge of life. See, because that's when and that's how we'll fulfill our desires. Haven't done this in a while. And I'm really excited, which is, and I don't really recall really being this excited except for, when I used to play sports, you have to focus on what it is that your responsibility is, right? And that's life, right? You have to focus on your responsibility so that you can make sure that as you're in this moment, that you actually put yourself in the right position to be successful, right? And that's our lives. Now, regardless of what we may not know when we start, it's what we need to know that will help us to become better at it, to become proficient, like they say in school, right? Just learn the method, the process, right? But sometimes because of where we may have been overactive, we didn't sit and be patient with ourselves to learn the skills or the method and the process, right? And so then some of us, for whatever reason, and we hear these voices are, well, you're not good enough, you don't have it, you're this way, you're slow, right? No, when you learn something is when you learn it. It don't matter how long it take you. Learn what you need to know so you can become better at what it is that you're trying to do. See, we're the ones who, and this is the power, this is the connection, we got to see it. This is where we disconnect from the power that's feeding us all the time. But it fed us because we didn't believe that we can do it, so we didn't do it. I know it's like, man, that's so simple. Yeah, it is. But what's the problem? We keep thinking that it ain't supposed to be us. And it reminds me, in Matthew 11:7, Jesus was doing a lecture. He said, what did you come out in the wilderness to see? A reef shaking in the wind? Right? See, it's looking at this mysteriousness thing that we think supposed to happen, that it's going to float in and it's going to take care of everything. No, it's floating all the time based on what you're thinking. It's moving in through us as we think. And it is done unto us as we believe. Everything we see in front of us and everything that has happened to us is something that we believed about, what we needed to have in order to become better than what we have been or what we have been doing, right? It don't matter. We go through this life and we, see, I told you he was going to take me somewhere else. And it's like, so spirit, so let's look at spirit like this. And we have to remember too that the Bible is not written in like books that we read today. Right? You can't look at it as, it's chronological. And this is how we learn. So sometimes that's what stymies our development and growth too. But we have to take words that we can understand, or what we need to do actually is get a dictionary, right, to help us with. And in our teaching, they have what is called a metaphysical Bible dictionary. And it helps break down the words so that you can see what they mean, right? So the concept I want you to have of God is I want you to see God as a moving force in the universe. It is an unseen principle that creates and manifests all things. And this is what the Bible defines as omnipresent, which is everywhere present, basically, right? Omniscient, all-knowing, and omnipotent, which is all powerful. So with that breakdown of that, if we realize that this spirit that is moving through life, that is bringing all things into fruition. See, when people describe it, they're describing it from an imaginary point in their lives to get us excited about what it's doing and how it works in our lives. That's a description, right? And we should be excited to know that, okay, this is how I have to see it, that he's moving for me on my behalf through this ether of life and creating, because what happens is it brings a thought to someone. And then somebody excavates the earth, or somebody looks at a cow. I don't know how, but somebody looked at a cow and they saw shoes. Somebody looked at a cow and saw a jacket. Huh? Am I telling the truth? Somebody saw it. Somebody saw a briefcase. Somebody saw a tree and they said, I see a piano. Somebody. This is us. We are the thing that we're looking for. Don't have no shame in the power that you have. Just know that you've been making mistakes and it's all right. But now that you know, sit with yourself and say, of myself, I can do nothing, but I know with you, I can do it. Don't be afraid of your short feelings. Don't be afraid that you didn't make it. Don't be afraid you wasn't all city. You wasn't all American. Most of us ain't gonna be that. But it's what we do with our families that is so important. That's where it's at. Keep on learning, keep on grinding, like they say. It's gonna come. So Ernest Holmes says, spirit makes things out of itself through some inner act upon itself. I don't know, but it's acting upon itself. Man, I mean, when you think about that, and then you look at the achievements of what is possible, how dare we to sit on our hands? And look, there's no limit to the possibilities of when and where and how it can happen. There are people who, when they became 60 and 70 and 80, became rich. We all read the books. And this intermingling, it is forming our universe with intelligence, law, and principle. And we must discover it if we want to become powerful vicegerents on this earth. You say, what is a vicegerent? Okay. A vicegerent is God's representative on earth. And we are supposed to act in accord to the will and the power of God. Hold on, I'll get you. Through our obedience to his will by understanding the laws and principles of how spirit works through us as us. By understanding. It's in the knowing. It's in the awakening. But we have to see it, and we have to allow it to happen for us. You can't be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth if you don't do it accurately. Oh, you can replenish it on the limited scale, right? And that's the unfortunate way in which men operate, right? Like, we'll take this information and we'll use it to the satisfaction of our physical senses, but not our wisdom to grow and increase the knowledge of the brothers around us. See, that's where the significance is. Not into having your seed scattered, but in having your brotherhood scattered. Because the more widen your range of your brotherhood, the more love you have over here. The more friendships you have, you can go to, and that will help you and assist you through the challenges that you're going to have in life. But if you plant a seed and you don't water it, it don't want you. It struggles with seeing you as something that is empowering them. Because most of the time we walk away. And if we walk away for something that needs nurturing and love, it dies. We kill the very thing that we made. And this is so significant for the world. And we look around and we wonder, why is the world in so much shambles? It's in shambles because we made it so. We don't fight back against the oppression that's coming against us. And you say, well, I'm voting, I'm doing. You know what? Everybody plays a part in this world to make it better. Our ancestors stood with no education, none, became doctors and physicians to heal us in our wounds. They prayed for us. They believed in us. They saw something coming in the future for us.
Coming forward to facilitate meditation.
Now we're living in this and we're wondering what to do. Go home. Go back to that place that makes you alive in your mind. Put your hands to work on the people you come across. I'm not telling you to go door to door. I'm telling you to touch hands on the people who are in your sphere. That's all who you need to touch, because then they will go and touch. And now we got to remember.
Relax, but position yourself.
I ain't saying that you have to be worrisome with it, because you got to remember.
You may be
all you got to do is just drop the seed.
Back erect.
And when it comes back by you, you just
Michael
go
is not
a
rigid.
little bit more on it.
A posture
That's all
of
you got to do.
open,
Don't badger it, right?
that we may
Jesus set us free.
commune.
Free to experience and understand the world. We're free, you guys. The book is only describing how we should live if we want a better world.
This nowness.
The book is saying that it's Saul.
Invite you to your hands.
Right? Streets paved the gold.
Promotes reception.
Honey, milk. Right? Where is all that stuff?
Allowing the breath.
Yeah, we do.
It's on earth. And then the book says in Joshua, God is amongst the living. The living. And so often when we get in, I find ourselves in circumstances, we experience little pain, we start seeing that, you know, maybe I ain't supposed to be doing it. Quit on ourselves. I mean, this is what we do as people. We quit on ourselves because it didn't turn out right. Because it hurt me. Because, you know, I don't feel like it right now. Why do I have to be the one to do it? Why should I have to do it? He didn't have to do it. Why did you make me do it? That's how we talk to ourselves. With the power that we have. And then we find ourselves lowly and meek, not because that's what you are, but that's what we speak into existence. We got to watch the tongue. It's powerful. See, we're only going to see the birthing of the universe, or the speaking that God did in Genesis. It is sort of, look at it like a decree, right, of what we have, right? You have to imagine yourself being the thing, right? And this decree, it has given us liberty, freedom, right? And it's showing us how to have justice in how we operate, you know, in our present time. Unfortunately, a lot of times what happens is, you know, we make these choices and we're doing them based on the understanding that we have at that time. And instead of increasing our understanding of the mistake that we made, right, we say, well, I don't know why I'm doing this, but what we need to do is have a renewing of our mind, right? Just a renewing of our mind. And when we have that, we will make a better decision. And as as you continue to read, it is one of the most important statements that is made by one of our brothers in the Bible is, right? You have to have a renewing of your mind. It's the way that we're looking at life. And so Hosea in 4 and 6, it says, my people are destroyed by a lack of knowledge, right? So basically, we need to improve on that concept and just learn to rationalize and decipher and to apply this information the way that is going to be best suited for us. And then another power that we have, which we really need to focus on, is spiritual discernment. It is having the belief that we are connected to God. And if we believe that we are connected to God, it will increase our awareness to what we have. We got to see that. Like, if I sit with myself, or let me make it plain, when I sit with myself, because I do it too, right? And when I have doubts of what it is that is required of me as my first thought, and I don't check it, okay? If I don't check it, it will bring to me that thought of what it is. And so I don't know if Reverend Lisa recalls this, but I had, the other day, I had mentioned to her about an idea that I had. And I told her, I said, if I don't do it, somebody else gonna do it. I said, because I spoke it, right? Because I was trying to speak about a thought of creating something, some type of revenue. And it's necessary, so that's why I know it's going to reveal itself. And because I didn't see myself yet being connected with what I need to bring it into fruition, I hesitated, right? I'm telling you something. And when we hesitate on what it is that was brought to us, we are unable to fulfill the work that's required to reveal it. Catch that? Because we say, I'm not ready. That's what we say to, that's what I say to myself. I said me. And it's up to you to see it in yourself to fix it. I see it in me. I see it. Okay, I see it. So, because generally when we make or make decisions, we're using our five senses. What happened when I did this last time? What happened when I tried this? Right? And when we do that, we're not rationalizing or reasoning with our spiritual self. And that is our problem. And I know most of us in here should remember this. And our ancestors, our grandparents, they used to say, I feel it in my stomach. I don't know why I think this is right, but I know it's right. I feel it in my stomach. That's intuition. See, but we got away from intuition because we got all these distractions. We got all these gadgets. Where I want to be, where I should be, instead of when we trying to imply something for a revelation to sustain our family, we got to focus. We got to sit and focus on that in order to bring it about. And see, another way to look at it too is when Jesus and the brothers were out and he asked them, who is it that they say that I am? Right? And Peter said, thou art the Christ. And Jesus said, my Father told you that. See, that had to be something inside of you that heard something that I said that connected you to that. Because there's no way that by you listening to the men that we've been traveling with that you heard that. Because them men is talking about killing me. Them men is talking about removing me from the earth because I'm giving you the wisdom that it takes to be free. Jesus said, you couldn't have heard that. I know you didn't hear that from them guys over there. See, look at this, reading these scriptures differently than what we've been taught. You got to look deeper. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. He moved me in another direction. He moved me in another direction. I'll wrap it up here, though, shortly. Thank you. We must act like we know we are guided, guarded, and protected by God Himself, and not by our intellect alone. And if we struggle with our understanding, then our prayer should be, Father, I commit myself to Thee. Relinquishing that part of us that is not accepting what we're hearing from within. We have to bow down to this power. And that's what it means when it says, be obeisance to me. See, we can't be afraid of God and be obeisance to it because it's a conflict with what we understand about being afraid. See, that's why we got to know it's in our minds. If you're afraid of something, you're not going to go to it. You're not going to open your hands up. But it's just the way our brothers were describing it from their thoughts back then. And it's up to us to update it in our own minds to see the freedom for ourselves. This is why the Bible says, knock, seek, and ask. It's a humble submission to the power and the presence that is moving in and through the universe all the time and eternally. It don't stop because we don't think that we want to deal with it anymore. It ain't going to stop. It's going to continue to reveal itself to the ones who said, I'll do it. Who's bold? Who's encouraged? Who feels enlightened? Who wants to have it? That's who it's being given to. So in 1 John, 5:4, it says, whosoever believeth that Jesus is the Christ, born of God, and of everyone that loveth him, that begaveth love him also that is begotten of him. And you act like him. See, when you believe in him and you act like him, it will reveal to you that love that you need to give, that you need to become in order to be more loving, to be more kind, and to see the love that is right in front of our eyes. That's what we're all trying to connect to. And the only reason we're disappointed and unhappy is because we ain't connected to it. That's the only reason. And that's why we have to wipe away our eyes, right? And a lot of me and Lisa get into this. I'm letting y'all in on something. And on Zoom. No. Just to make an example. You know, we talk about tears from men and tears of women. And so she says that, you know, you got tear ducts, so you should cry. And then I tell her, I say, I understand that, and that's the reason why I do cry. But my father told me, okay, I'm just letting you in on something. Crying ain't gonna resolve the problem that you face. So my point is, men don't cry because they don't want to cry in front of you. And they understand and know that I'm not crying because that ain't gonna solve the problem or the circumstances that I'm in. That's a tidbit for y'all, okay? That's why men don't cry, okay? You have to see your way out of the problem. Crying claws your judgment. That's masculine power, y'all. You got to see the masculine in it. God's spirit is masculine and feminine. See, we've been looking at God in masculine, then when we give it a pronoun and we call him him, women go, him. How come God is a him? It's a pronoun. It's a description of, to let you see how it works. It's male and female. The universe does what? It gives birth. Right? Man has to give it what? A thought, an idea. And then the earth will say, gotta see yourself, gotta believe yourself, and you gotta keep walking through whatever danger, whatever trauma. That's why Jesus, when he prayed, he said, I walk through the valley of the shadows of death. These appearances is gonna change me. They're gonna make me think I can't do it. I may be hungry, I may be weak, I may be struggling. He said, no, thy rod and thy staff, right? That means you can kick it off you, push it off, get it off you. For those of you who like football, another scenario is when the running back feel the guy coming to attack him, what do he do? Straight on, right? Get off me, right? Push it off. By this, we know that the love of the children of God, when we love God and obey his commandments, the knowledge and wisdom that is here that we discover, for this love of God, that we keep his commandments, we be obedient to these things that we've learned, and his commandments are not burdensome. Don't get frustrated, right? That's where the saying comes in, my yoke. See, we got to connect this to ourselves, man. Stop looking at the Bible 5,000 years ago. Stop. Look at you. What are you doing? We got to quit this, and that's why we ain't strong. Your strength is in what you believe. For everyone who has been born of God overcomes the world. And this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. Faith in the thing that we're looking for to help us. And in Science of Mind, what we say, I went back Science of Mind, right? What you looking at, what you looking with, is what you looking at is what you use. It's you. And that's what we got to see. But anytime you bring philosophy into religion, people struggle, right? We struggle with it. I'm going to close this up, baby, so you don't have to spank me on the way home. Faith is assurance, hope for. He that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do also, and greater works than these he'll do. Jesus implored us to follow him and trusting in the ethers of life, which he called the kingdoms of heaven. He encouraged us to follow the pattern ourselves and to mimic his behavior, even if it's just a mustard seed faith applied. It will provide results. So in closing, the divine is waiting on our command. And I implore and encourage us to apply the principles until we grasp them and we receive the results, the knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding. And then we will have a testimony and followers. And here's a quote that I'm going to close with, pre-closing. It's by David Foster Wallace. He says, the truth will set you free, but not until it's finished with you. The truth will set you free, but not until it's finished with you. Okay? In expectations and in his beliefs. Yes, sir.